Shalit was kidnapped over 5 years ago along the Gaza border by Hamas militants when he was serving in the Israeli army. His family has set up this tent behind me to be a constant reminder to the Prime Minister that he needs to negotiate a deal and bring Gilad home. If we walk just a little ways over here, we can see what's become a wall of solidarity where hundreds of Israelis have left notes for Gilad. It's clearly become an issue that has galvanized the public.
Gilad is being held, I can't tell you where, because nobody knows where, nobody knows how, no doctors that we know of. We don't know what he eats. And as far as us Israelis are concerned, he's our son, because it could be anybody's son. It could be my son tomorrow.
Many Israelis that come to visit the tent have grown weary of the stalled indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas to free Gilad. Hamas reportedly wants some 450 jailed Palestinian militants released to Gaza and the West Bank in exchange for the kidnapped soldier. Israel says that number is too high and that some militants must be deported. Israel has also insisted that those directly involved in terrorist attacks, ones with blood on their hands, won't be released at all. Israelis were reminded again last week that the danger of soldiers being kidnapped by Palestinian militants is still very real. Handcuffs were reportedly found on some of the militants killed in last week's terrorist attacks near Eilat, suggesting another soldier, another Gilad Shalit, may have been their goal. Many here at the tent feel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not making Gilad's release a high enough priority.
I want to see results. I want to see Gilad back at home with his family and not in Gaza with nobody knows what's going on with him.
Every day, Gilad's dad, Noam, comes to the tent to keep the cause of his son's freedom alive. Noam has organized nationwide rallies and marches on behalf of Gilad. He's lobbied lawmakers and Jewish leaders abroad. He's even asked the White House and the French president for help. The day we visited the tent, there were new reports that negotiations for Gilad's release had resumed in Cairo. Noam stopped to talk to us for a few minutes, but it was clear the news gave him little hope.
Well, Israel releases thousands of prisoners and terrorists from Israeli jails. 2 weeks ago, there were more than 200 of them were released from the jails. From the day that Gilad was kidnapped, there were thousands of Palestinian prisoners that were released from Israeli jails from all kinds of reasons. Some of them just gesture for the holidays and others.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that today, with all the upheaval in the Arab world and all the upheaval, the Arab Spring, things that are happening in Egypt and Syria, in Yemen, and now the protests here in Israel, do you think this is going to put any pressure on the Prime Minister to maybe make a move?
Well, I'm not a commentator. I'm just a father that his son has been held in captivity with no human rights for over the 5 years.
Do you think he's still alive?
We hope so.
The last sign of life from Gilad is already over 2 years old. Hamas released this videotape in 2009 showing Gilad holding a current newspaper and reading a letter to his family. Israeli authorities believe it is authentic. Noam is determined to wait in this tent day in and day out until the government brings his son home. Many speak of his astounding strength and perseverance. Some of that may come from the strangers, like this man, Neil, who come by every day to offer Noam comfort.
Well, I want to tell him that me and my family are thinking about him and Gilad every day. And I'm here to be with them. I feel very sad for the family.
Everyone is hoping and praying that one day soon, the country will celebrate in this tent with Noam and Gilad. Jordana Miller, JN1, Jerusalem.